Welcome back to Empowered. I'm Elizabeth Nemofsky, the gamification of dating apps. Okay, Lexi, how do dating apps balance gamification with fostering genuine, meaningful connections? Because, everybody is so used to looking at their phone. They get all their information from here. And I think through time, they're not as touchy-feely as we used to be. So how do we deal with that?
So it's a huge part of what I did in my research, but there are a couple ways that dating apps try and do this. So design, really integrating the app in a way that complements user interaction. So to make the app even less busy is one example. Hinge is a really good dating app because the colors are very muted. The prompts, everything you can do in the app is way less busy than, say, an app like Tinder, where you're just thrown so much at your face. So the apps and the way they're designed can help with keeping you, more mellow, more chill when you're using them, but also feedback. I think one thing apps can do and what can really foster connection is to talk to the users and to get that feedback from the people who are using it and to figure out their intentions because it seems like the way the apps are going is they might be leaning more towards keeping people on them instead of getting them off.
So, I'm still struggling with this because, if you're swiping or you're on these apps and you just want to meet friends or whatever there is, I'm just wondering, are there concerns that dating apps in general just might be trivializing the process of finding your person?
Yeah, I would argue that that is the way things are going. I think, apps or businesses. Hinge has a slogan that says designed to be deleted, but they don't want you to delete the app. They want you to keep going. They want you to keep investing that money and getting those matches. So I think that, yeah, there really isn't that pursuit of a meaningful relationship nowadays, at least in the apps that I've studied.
It's interesting that you said they want you to keep investing in into their product and spending your money. I do have many friends, and some are on so many of the different dating apps out there, and then they get frustrated and they said, "I'm done. I've deleted it. I'm no longer part of this." And then a few months go by, and then they're back on again. So, can you maybe provide examples of dating apps that have successfully implemented gamification in a positive way for people?
So one that I like as a positive example is Bumble. Bumble is an app where the woman has to message the partner first, at least in male to female relationships, the woman has to message the male first. And they implement a time-based feature. So you only have 24 hours to engage with the user, which is nice because it does provide some sort of, you're going to get off this app, you want to set up that date, you have, a very short window to actually get off the app. Whereas the other ones, you can respond days, months, weeks, years even. I've known girlfriends who've had dating apps for years and they're still talking to a guy and they like haven't gotten off the app. So with the gamified approach to getting you to talk to the person, you're more likely to set up a date quicker and then obviously get off the app and go meet the person.
So, how do you measure the effectiveness of gamification features in dating apps?
Yeah, so essentially, there's a couple things you can do. Engagement is a really good way to check. So, tracking user activity, how long the sessions are, how frequently they're using their app. Like, if I were to develop a dating app, those are the things I would want to look at, especially tracking when the date happened from when the initial date conversation started. I think that would be really interesting because obvious in my eyes, once you go on a date, the app has succeeded in getting you off, the app and then into the dating world. But to track that, you'd have to see kind of what their feel is for the app and how they've been using it.
Okay, so I have to ask this question because I hear it on the radio and I hear it in conversations. You just said once you go on the date. So,
Mhm.
what do people want date wise now? Is it a coffee? Nobody wants to go for a dinner. Or if it's a dinner, do you split it? Does he pay? Does she pay? What happens?
Think there's actually been a trend in that because, especially for women, we've been getting so frustrated with these apps that our expectations are a lot higher. So we don't just want a coffee date anymore. A lot of women, at least you'll see this kind of on TikTok and dating vlogs and stuff. They want for you to show that you're very serious, and not just this casual person. So the more the merrier. I think the more elaborate the date, that might be the trend nowadays, which is very interesting.
Okay, so when we come back, we're going to talk about some potential pitfalls or challenges that people go through with, gamified dating, because, these are people's lives, and these are, I mean, everybody wants to be loved. I mean, you don't want your heart to be broken. So when we come back, we're going to talk about potential pitfalls. So please don't go away.